Hey everybody, it's Savannah here, and today I'm going to talk about how to graduate high school with a year or two of college done. So one of the things that I would suggest doing is starting early. Now, depending on when you're watching this video, you may be a sophomore. If you're a sophomore or later in high school, I'm sorry, but this is going to be a hard couple years. If you just decide that now, it's going to be crunch time. You're probably going to be taking a lot of APs, a lot of classes at a local college. Now, if you're like me and you're a freshman or earlier, so that's like 8th or 7th grade, it's a lot easier to do. But if you are a sophomore or junior, it is possible. It is. It's just going to be harder. So, how do I do this? Well, there are two options. You can either take an AP class or you can take a class at a local college. There are ups and downs on both of these. AP classes, it depends on your test score and what school you're going to, on whether or not you get credit. There's only so many AP classes and so many different topics. Like human anatomy is not an AP class, so you're going to have to take that at a local college if you are required to take that for your major. And while they are a year in the school year, like they take up a year, you only get like usually 4 credits. And as I think I said earlier, but I'm not positive if I said it, depending on the college and your score tells you whether or not you'll be getting credit for that class. But if you go down to a local college or a local community, like a local college or university, or even community college, as long as you take that class and you pass it, you're getting credit. Doesn't matter where you are. They'll just be seen as like transferring. You'll be treated kind of as a transferring student. Those credits will be. So once you figured out, like, those are your two options. Once you figured that out, I would ask yourself if you know what college you want to go to. For me, I'm lucky. I felt at home at this one college. As soon as I walked onto campus, I'm like, this is my place. My place. Like, I knew that. But if you don't, that's fine. One thing that I would suggest knowing, though, is your major. It's extremely helpful. Some majors will tell you whether or not you can do 2 years of that, like, 2 years of college during that time. Because, for example, it's not possible as a nurse. Like, I'm sure if I worked really hard, I probably could. But it's just going to be a lot harder than just to do 1 year. Because your nursing classes start when you are a sophomore. It's like your second semester of your sophomore year is from then on is practically all nursing classes. And that means you have to be into a nursing program, and it's a really hard, and it's not going to be easy to do in high school. It's going to be hard. But if you have classes where it's like human anatomy and physiology, intro to chemistry, those are easier to take as a high school student because you won't have to be declaring a major at a school that you won't even end up going to just because it's local and that's where you're going there. So once you know the major in the school, and if you don't know either, just guesstimate. Don't guesstimate a college and don't guesstimate a major. But the one thing that you can do is gen eds. Gen eds are pretty constant within different schools. So just going and asking your high school counselor. It depends on different countries. But for the most part, they're like, you need to have so many social sciences, so many different things. So then I would go and write down these other classes that I should be taking in those years of college. And these are the classes that I could be taking as a high school student. Depending on the college that you want to go to, for those classes that aren't possible to take as APs, there could be limits on what classes you can take. Like I can only take classes where the first number of that class, so after it says human anatomy, if it starts with a 1 or a 2, like the class number, I can take it. But if it starts with a 3 or above, then I cannot take it. It just depends. It depends on the college. Like, that's the rules at the college that I will be taking my classes. So once you have that list, make sure that they're all possible. And if you know your college, double check and make sure that you will be able to get credit for those AP. If you're taking, like, thinking about taking an AP class, make sure that you'll be able to get credit if you get a certain score. And also put like a little asterisk and just say, I need to get a 5 on the exam or a 4 on the exam. Just have those written down next to those AP classes. And again, extremely important, double check to make sure that the college will take credit for those. If not, you're going to walk in and be like, I'm ready to be a sophomore or a junior. And the college will be like, sorry, no. Just because you didn't take the right classes or you didn't get credit. And I know that that's hard to deal with, and I'm sorry. So just double check. Once you have that, look at your high school requirements. So let's say you're, let me just go with nursing because that's what I want to become. Human anatomy and human physiology is a year-long course at my high school. But if I take it at my local university, I'll be getting college credit while I can be getting high school credit. So that'll be counting for a prerequisite for some nursing classes for me that you usually take as a freshman, while it's counting for CTE credit at my school. So just see where they'll overlap. And then go ahead and write down all of your credits and then just cross them out. Like for credits of English, if you have to take 2 English classes to meet the requirements for you to be where you want to be, then just go ahead and cross those out and say, I need to have 2 English credits within my high school life, like within just high school. And go through and do those. So that way you know what classes you need to be taking at the college or as APs, and you know what classes you need to be taking to get a high school diploma. Then pull up either a piece of paper and make a table where it goes each year of high school at the top and one column where it's subjects, or do that on a document. Tables are my favorite things. So once you have that, go ahead and put the subjects in. And those classes that you wrote down earlier, go ahead and put them in where you think it will work as years. So, like chemistry, college chemistry. I suggest that you take chemistry at your high school first. Same thing with biology. Just make sure that you have stuff that leads you up. When it comes to anatomy and physiology, you don't need to be taking anatomy and physiology at a high school level. If you really just want to jump into like college chemistry, fine with me. But I would suggest taking chemistry first. Really hard class. Same thing with English. Like you can't just skip multiple years of English. Not that easy. So go in and put them in years where you think they'll work. Once you have that, go and look at those classes that you need, like those credits that you need in your high school life, and go ahead and put those in. You may end up having to take some classes online or at night school, but remember, just keep that goal in mind, and by the time it's over, you could save multiple thousands of dollars just by putting your head down and working through in high school. One thing that I will tell you is try to keep your GPA up. I know it's hard. And another thing that I would suggest doing is try to limit how many college, so AP classes and college classes are different in my mind. College classes, you do not want more than 4 of those in any given time of the year. So if you're like fall semester, I'm going to be taking 5 college classes, but then spring semester you're only taking 3. Bring one of those over so you'll have 4. Especially with high school classes, because you're going to have more high school classes on top of that. Like, that is a large load. Just to tell you, very, very, very big load. Very big load. Very, very big load. Just with that 4. Now, if you have perfect memory, then it may just be a little bit easier. But try not to put more than 4. AP classes, put as many as you think that you can. Just follow that list. Try to even it out so it won't be too many on any given time. Keep in mind your limitations, please. When you're making that list, keep your limitations in mind. if your goal is 2 years, but now you're looking at your high school plan and you're just like, yeah, that's not possible. Like, if your gut is telling you, not possible, probably not possible. Just sometimes you really just gotta give in. Unless you want to be torturing yourself. So keep your limitations in mind and follow your gut through this process. So, yeah, bye. That's my advice on how to go through high school while getting some college credits done and a couple years of college done through high school. Bye.